Coming at you live from my living room. It's your boy Smitty. Another Saturday Night Live. It's probably not probably one of the wisest things, guy. If you're a car guy, but anyways, you're probably watching Cletus and Cars. I didn't get the pay per view and I didn't go down there, but I imagine that's where a lot of them are. I hear it's supposed to be a riot down there. One of these years I might get to go. What's up, Mr. Luther? Well, we got 3 of them in here. Fantastic. I gave you a little bit of heads up that I was going to be on tonight, like 20 or 30 minutes. Better than what I usually do. I forgot this was Saturday. Unfortunately, next weekend I got to work. 45 is talking in Michigan. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was watching some of that. If he's still on, he's made it a long one. But yeah, I haven't tuned that in. Let's see if I can still pull it up. Yep, there he is. Yeah, he's actually still talking. Holy cow. He's long-winded tonight. Real, sir. Yes. What's up, Jerry? Yeah, it's still cold in a couple places. We've been getting rain down here all day. And in fact, it's supposed to rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this next week. A pretty good chance of it. A little too early to get in the rainy season, but we may start a little early. Doing fantastic, Doc. Got my ears lowered today, which I needed. I ain't got much hair up there anyway, but it was bugging me. It was getting long. Yeah. Jerry, I can remember living up in Missouri when the roads would get pretty bad up there, especially on the highway, from the plows going across them, and they'd just flat tear up I-70 and 435. Take out a whole suspension if you're not careful. Well, thank you, Doc. Not bad for my age, I guess. Doctor wasn't too happy with me, though. Uh-oh. Lost a buddy this week. I'm sorry to hear that, Doc. Who'd you lose? Did you lose your one of your 4-legged fur babies? Oh. Oh, it was a friend. Ooh, I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't related to the jab. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Yeah, Doc, I think since they couldn't get you with the first couple, they got to keep giving them until they take you out. And I guess there's all sorts of data coming out on those now that shows it how bad they were. But I wonder if I can hear that while I'm on the. Oh yeah, he still kept talking. He's teasing on running again. Oh yeah. Oh damn, that's what got him. Yeah, Mike, I'm doing fantastic. But if I if I was any better, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Like I said, Doc was kind of mad at me. I, all this blood sugar thing is just it's a killer. He wants to stick me on a pin, and I'm not into that. But I got to make a conscious effort to get this blood sugar down. Try to get some weight off. If it's not a little obvious, I like to eat though, but I don't really pig out, and I don't eat a lot of junk food. I just eat too much of good stuff. I can't say that either. I like sweets and I like sugar. You know, sugar's almost as bad as it's almost as bad as smoking. You know, it took me a little bit to quit smoking. Um, you know, it's one of them things where you're a teenager, it was the end thing to do. And so by the time I was 29, I said that was enough and I quit. The fruits and veggies they sell on TV. Yeah, I've tried to umzu just to see what it would do, and I didn't get nothing out of it. I'm half tempted to try the Golo to see if that works, but I just need to eat better. Finally stopped getting it from girls. Started candy. Yeah, yeah, I understand. My my dad ended up being diabetic, and let's see, my grandma on my mom's side was diabetic. Her sister on her sister's diabetic. Both sisters are diabetic, and I think my uncle's diabetic. Um, I don't know that anybody on my dad's side was diabetic, but it's I gotta. You can't cut carbs and be sustainable. You just can't because there's too much of it out there. But I can easily cut out the bread because I don't really care for a lot of bread anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the smell of it, and it smells so good when it's fresh. You make fresh bread, man, nothing like it. Walk into Subway when they're baking bread, and that's kind of hard to get away from, you know. But of course, I love bacon. Yeah, I know that's kind of weird, but I do love to bake, and I love to cook Italian. Oh, I love to cook Italian. Oh, it smells so good. You get garlic in there and get the aroma of the tomatoes, a good aroma of tomatoes to cook with. Whew, that's good stuff. Jerry, I can't take metformin. I tried that. I am on glimepiride though, um, and I'm on Actos. And if I could just get it to the point where I quit overpowering it and being stupid with what I eat and what I eat. I mean, I know what foods do it to me, but it's tough to get away from them because it's hard to give up something that tastes good, you know? Steven, I used to smoke. I smoked before I quit. I was like 2.5 packs a day, and I used to smoke Camel Wides. I don't even know if they still got those anymore. Um, but my very first pack of cigarettes were Cools. Ooh, they were bad. But my second pack after that was Marlboro Reds, and from then I was hooked. I was done. But I liked it, but I knew it wasn't good for my body, so I had to quit it. And I used to drink like a fish when I was a teenager. Drank enough that when my 21st birthday, I sat in my apartment and watched movies all night. That was my excitement for my 21st birthday, if you believe that. But yeah, I finally got away from it. That was my uh, millennium resolution. Um, January 14th is when I actually quit, threw them away. That was tough. Once you get past the first 10 days, it wasn't too bad. Tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and a cup of water and down it. Hey, I'll try anything. Mike, I could never stand to be a freaking vegetable. I mean, I just can't. I like my meat. I know that sounds bad in a way, but I like a good steak. Hell, I did a London broil last week. Oh, it was so good. Um, I made my own rub that I found off online, and I modified it a little bit. And I soaked this London broil overnight in this rub, and then I grilled it. And oh, it turned out so good. Had a crust on the outside, and it was just like medium rare on the inside. It wasn't rare. Well, when you got to the thick end, it got a little rare, but it was still moving a little bit. But most for the most part, it was medium to medium rare, and it was so good. I took some to one of the other guys that I work with. He cooks a lot, he grills a lot, and smokes the meat and stuff like that. And I took him some of that and says, "Holy crap, that's good." So I was tickled to death. Somebody else liked it too. So that means I must have done something right. Hey, Kyle, how are you tonight? What's up? I appreciate your knowledge. Hope all's well. It's good. I'm doing very well. Yeah, that's the whole thing, Jerry. I'm not the one that likes to sit a whole lot. Today it was kind of crappy. I blew my plans because I was going to be outside all day, and then it decided to rain. And so I just did a few things around the house and watched a couple of movies, some really good movies, because I like to watch movies too. But for the most part, I like to stay moving if I can. Jerry, I can't drink diet soda. And most of your sugar-free products have got artificial sweeteners in it that are actually worse for you than the real McCoy. Um, a lot of your diet sodas have aspartame in it, and drinking the aspartame really screws with my knees. So I can't drink diet soda. So well, it's good that you gave most of it up, Mike. Well, apparently the 45 is done. I hear his music playing. Yep. Almost 100,000 people were watching that. That's pretty cool. Well, Jerry, your battery's always at 15%. You got to charge that dude up once in a while. Yes, apple cider vinegar also do some muscle pain too. Yeah, I could use that. What movies did I watch? I watched Imprisoned that had Lawrence Fishburne in it. That was a pretty good movie. It was about him being a warden for a prison. Uh, that was a pretty good movie. Um, I just watched Jamesy Boy. That was a pretty good movie, and I didn't realize it, but that was based on a true story. Um, so that was a really good movie. What was the other one I watched? Well, I started watching Equalizer, which you can't go wrong with that movie. Before I got on here, so 45 is still in my gun cabinet. Yeah, somebody stole my. I think the mover stole my 45. So have a good night, Jerry. But I've got my 40 hidden pretty good though. Macho, macho man. Oh, somebody's getting an interview. Looks like. Boy, everybody cleared out fast. Everybody's dancing and all that stuff. Did you all see the interview that they had with Mel Gibson today? Well, I think it happened like 2 days ago, and it was oh, what's his name from? I think it was a Fox News channel or something like that. Uh, they interviewed him on what he thought about what was going on, and they got to the end. They wanted to ask about Biden's laptop, and they got interrupted, and the the sound engineer or something like that says, "Oh, that's going to be it. That's we're it for time and stuff like that." So cut him off. Well, there's a I don't know how you do the cash app deal, but there's a little dollar sign down there at the bottom underneath the comment. I don't know how you do it from there. I don't know if you can do well, yeah, somebody else has done it before because I don't monetize my live streams. Um, I just never have. Um, there used to be um I do have a PayPal account too, and that's just using my email. I do believe it's irockinz@gmail.com. But if you want to put something in PayPal, that would work also. Excuse me. Ponder that thought a minute. I gotta go let the kids in. I had to put them outside. Come on, kiddos. 1, 2, and 3. Good job, kids. Yeah. All right. Anyway, and of course, the big news uh, during the week was the Will Smith slap uh, to Chris Rock. That was pretty crazy. Dumb question mark. Do you know what year Camaro went into the rounded? That would have been a 93. 92 was the last year for the third gen. 93 was the fourth gen. And they ran the 93, 94, 95, and 96 were the same. They had the 4 quad headlights in the front. 97, they started doing the composite headlights, and they carried that all the way up until the end of production in 2002. Yeah, 2002. Speaking of which, so I like RVs and camping and that kind of stuff, and I watch RVing with Andrew Steele. Shameless plug for him, but he works with a couple of big coach companies, and there was one, I think the Motor Coach store or something like that. But anyway, inside their showroom, they have, this guy must really love Trans Ams because he's got a collection of them. He has the blue and white anniversary edition. I think that was the 2000 model, and then he has the yellow and black one, couple of red ones. Just the blue and white one was one of my favorites. Now, me and white interior don't go too good together because I don't know when I get dirty sometimes. I'd be afraid to sit on that white leather and screw it up. Of course, that's what they make towels for, but I always liked it because it had the blue anodized wheels, and that was just a good-looking car. I loved it. They were so sweet. Excuse me. Really kind of miss my 91 Formula I had. I liked that one quite a bit. I had a Formula Firebird. Yeah, I don't dare wear a white shirt because I guarantee I'm going to end up getting dividends from lunch on it, or I'm going to end up getting grease on it or something like that. And I'd much rather wear a light colored shirt, but I know it's not going to be light colored for long. And I don't always like to change my clothes 3 and 4 times a day just to do something. So half the time I end up with the same thing. Yeah. Believe it or not, my Honda I drive, which was my dad's Pilot. If you guys didn't know, of course, I lost my dad almost 3 years ago, and I inherited that. Well, it'll be 3 years in November. But it's got gray interior. It's a silver Pilot with gray leather interior, and I notice I'm starting to get a little staining going on there, because that's what I drive to and from work. Triple white caddy convertible. Boy, you don't see them very often. Was it like a 76, 74, 75, 76, somewhere in there? Yeah, I lost Dad in 2019. '77, very nice. It was kind of unexpected, just like it usually is. You're growing up, you think Dad's invincible and that they're gonna live forever, but that's not the case. Good Lord says your apartment's ready and it's your time to come home, he's going to take him home. So that's what happened. But anyway, you know, Kyle, I gotta say that's I was fortunate to learn a lot from my dad. He was, of course, just I'm a little biased, and it is my opinion, but he was the smartest guy I knew, and he was kind of the same way. But between the knowledge that I picked up from him and the knowledge that I've learned in the automotive career for as long as I've been doing it, uh, I learned enough in mechanical knowledge and electrical knowledge and plumbing and all that other stuff that I'm fortunate to be able to do most everything that I need to do. Whether or not my body will permit me to do it's another story. But I cracked my mom up. The last time we went up there for a big stay, she had a water softener go out in her house, and I says, "Well, let's just get another one. We'll throw one in there, and you'll be done." And of course, up home, most of your houses are put together with copper pipe. Now I see that, but anymore, a lot of the uh, preferred deal is PEX, which PEX is some pretty cool stuff. But you know, Dad taught me when I was really young how to sweat copper pipe, and my mom was just tickled to death. She goes, "How'd you learn how to do that?" I says, "Dad taught me. He taught me how to do wire electrical, and I wired my whole garage slash shop on my first house, and um, I did a whole panel exchange on our house that we had, and when the wife and I met at her house. Um, so yeah, I mean, I was fortunate to know how to do all that stuff. So it's definitely helped me. That's I wish I had more time to share it with everybody. On YouTube because there's a lot of things that they don't teach this stuff in you know general how to do things. They don't teach it in shop class anymore. They don't have shop classes. They don't have home economics classes. Um, that stuff is important to get through life. If these kids today were to happen to lose, if we lost our computers and our phones and stuff like that, these kids wouldn't have a clue what to do. They would be completely lost. Um, you know, it- what would they do if Google didn't exist? Um, or any search engine for that matter, that everybody's put the information out there. It'd be terrible. Mike. I never thought of it that way. Somebody's talking about pecs and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that would be kind of wrong. Yeah. 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 But the sad thing about us, Kyle, is that I'd say, even if there was a general life class, I have a feeling there'd be a lot of kids that probably would fail it. Um, but there should be a class for in the kids. I don't know if there is anymore, but there should be one that teaches fiscal responsibility. Um, I don't know how many people still balance a checkbook. I know I don't anymore. I mean, I just go by I know what I've spent, and I'll make sure the banking transactions are the same. But for the most part, you don't have to balance it because it's all most of your stuff is done uh, electronically. Now, that brings up another very important part. If y'all haven't been paying attention um, to what's been going on in our government, y'all need to be paying attention to this thing that they're trying to force or trying to create a digital currency. I'm not talking about Bitcoin or anything like that. Um, it's a federal Bitcoin, a federal coin. If they get this passed, there will be no more cash anymore. Everything will be digital. The problem with that is then the government's going to have control of that money. In other words, they'll know exactly what you spend and where, and they're trying to eliminate the fact that people are making money on the side, and the government doesn't know about it. The government wants control of your life, and that's something that you need to think about when we go to the polls. Now, the biggest thing is we need to make sure that election integrity is straightened out. But if there's enough overwhelming response to it, then that's the way it should be. The elites that have more money and they know what to do with, uh, presumably, are trying to control the world for world domination. That's not how this country was founded. Um, they're trying to crap on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and it's not right. So you need to pay attention to this stuff because if you don't, it's going to catch you off guard. So I'd say if you get some way to put nest egg back, do it. We've been stocking up on food and making sure that we got enough to survive if there ends up being a big crash. Speaking of which, so I drink, or I don't drink, I eat Dannon whole plain yogurt because it has no additives in it. It's just straight cultured milk. That's what it is. So I went to the store and today, our local grocery store, and of course they're out of it again because they were out last week. And the guy told me that it says one of the shippers got cyber attacked and they took their whole system down. So they haven't been able to ship a lot of product because of it. Hence the thing that they don't know how to do things on paper. But that kind of a threat is real because I went to another grocery store, went 2 other places today trying to find my yogurt, and all of the places were out of it. They were out of a bunch of different stuff. That stuff is coming, y'all. It's right. It's here. I'm reading some comments here, guys, trying to catch up. Yeah, Mike, I agree to that. I mean, we had that kind of similar classes. We had sewing classes. I learned how to sew in that class. Of course, my mom taught me a lot too, but I learned how to sew. We learned some economics. They had cooking classes there, uh, and that was always a fun one because they had a couple ovens in the class, and they'd learn how to bake cookies and make bread and that kind of stuff. And oh, I'm going to tell you, you got that room smelling pretty dang good. Well, Stephen, you've got a point there. Yeah, but they're pushing for it pretty hard, Stephen. Um, if y'all follow Glenn Beck, um, read about the Great Reset, and it's not just him that's doing it. It's not a conspiracy. Um, it falls in line with everything that's been going on. So you ought to check that out. Read it. I've been wanting to buy his book, but I haven't. I just never have got around to it. But it's dangerous and it's sickening what our government is doing. It's really bad. Oh, oh yeah, the old X-Lax brownies. We figured we'd try to make some wacky brownies one time, and yeah, that got vetoed pretty quick. Somebody had brought some in to try to make it. We were just joking around with somebody, and then somebody actually brought some in, and yeah, that didn't go so well. But it does make you wonder, with the events that have been occurring. Uh, it does make you curious, to say the least. And man, how quick are they to censor you, shut you down on anything that doesn't conform to their narrative? It's bad. It's it's really bad. Just like the freedom convoy that they had for the truckers, went from coast to coast around DC a bunch of times. Boy, the media was pretty silent on that one. Not that I'm not going to plug him either, but uh, uh, Don Jr. Has started a new um, media app for getting true stories called MXM, Mary X-Ray Mary. Supposed to be able to get unbiased stuff on there. Might be worth checking out. Kyle, I don't know. I hope so. That's what the left is scared to death of. So that's why they're pushing to try to get this all done because they know because they stole it. They stole the event that happened, you know, almost 2 years ago now. Um, so they're going to try to steal everything else. Yeah, and that's a big industry, Stephen. I mean, like I said, you get a valid point. Um, yeah, it would put a halt to that, and of course, the sex trafficking thing that needs to quit anyway. That's really bad, um, really bad. Bad with a capital B. Anyway, oh, so I'm trying to. The guy from Florida is pretty sharp, that too. Yeah, yeah, he is. He's real sharp. I'd hate to lose. We'd hate to lose him as a governor. I like the fact that he's going after Disney for being they're stripping all their rights or something like that about it. It was they were talking about that earlier, but So I'm trying Steven's extraction would probably still thrive. Well, think of it this way, Steven. If they can do everything digitally, um, through like Bitcoin or something like that, something that the government is not able to touch, which they're trying to do that too. Um, they can still make it work. Did narcs get ordered today? Narcotics get ordered today? I have no idea. I didn't order any. But so I'm trying to get my house refinanced, and of course the rates have gone up, but I had to wait because of my circumstances, and I need a good rate by any means. I'm hoping it'll go down after all this stuff blows over. But the only reason why I really wanted to refinance is try to knock some time off and get out of this arm that I'm in, uh, adjustable rate mortgage. And right now, my rate's pretty good, but I have a feeling after when November rolls around, when they have to redo it again, it's going to shoot way up. And that's what I'm afraid of. I need trying to get on a fixed rate. That way I don't have to jack with it. And if I can knock off 5 years off my loan, I'd be tickled to death. So I really don't want to be paying for this place when I'm 65. I don't know how I could. So the idea is to have it paid off early, but I really don't see that happening. Kyle, it's not that bad really. I mean, I just called the bank that we've got it through. Said, "Hey, look, I want to refinance." And he said, "Sure. Run your credit score." And it says, "Yep, we get it all there. Your closing costs are figured into the loan amount, and you'll have a little bit for some couple of fees, but that's it. And then you'll be done and good to go." I'm like, well, that would work. So I have to get with my with the broker, and I got a couple questions I need to ask him, and go from there. Plus, I'll need to drop. I got to drop an email to my attorney too. So yeah, see that 3%, Kyle, is gone. Uh, the best I could get right now on a 20-year fixed. Um, I can't afford to do a 15, but I can do a 20-year on what I make. So if I did a 20-year fixed, it's 4.875. Um, which when we did when we started out and we were on the arm for the first 5 years, it was six and an eighth, I think it was. Yeah, Kyle, it's up that much, and it's from what I'm hearing, it's supposed to go up even more, uh, quite a bit more. Yeah, I think it's 1 or 2 years, Mike. I'm not sure. What's up, Jose? Yeah, Kyle, this the county that we're at down here, the damn taxes are terrible. Um, I think my property, or not property tax, but my real estate tax is like $3,600 on the place that I'm at. So it's stupid high. Um, when we lived up in Missouri, we lived in um, Jackson County for a while, and we moved from Jackson to um, oh crap, what I can't think of what the county was. Um, anyway, it was south to the next county, and our personal property tax that you had to pay up there, personal property tax was like all your cars and that kind of stuff. You paid that yearly. It cut in almost half. Yes, Jose, they are yearly. They're figured into the escrow though, so I mean it's figured into your house payment. Well, that's pretty good, Mike. I haven't if you've ever been through a bankruptcy, they of course they wipe out all your credit history. So you start kind of in the basement. I think I started like 540 or something like that. And before I did the bankruptcy, my credit score was 748, something like that. The same as yours is 748. So um it was up there. I had good credit, but I knew because I got hosed on my selling my business and I got left with all the debt, that there was no way that I could have ever paid it off in my lifetime. So I had to do it. It sucked. I don't recommend it to anybody. Yeah. Uh, but like I said, I mean, we're in a good spot with our house. So um, just trying to get it refinanced and get it taken care of would be ideal. You know, if if in fact that some bright shining smoking deal comes along, or we get through this and the feds drop the interest rate and so on and so forth, then I can always go back and refi again and try to knock some more time off of it. But um yeah, I'd like to get to the point where I can make um extra payments on the house too, to help try to get it paid off faster. That would be ideal. But we'll see. The worst part about it is with everything going on right now, I've got to be responsible, so I'm not doing many projects. Not that's not going to net me some sort of income. So that's why Scarlett get put on the back burner. I actually have a cover for it. I'm going to try to do a video tomorrow. I bought the most economical cover I could find on Amazon, and I need to get Scarlett covered up so it doesn't completely deteriorate, and I've got something to work with down the road. I need to get to a point where I can get it up out of the sand. I mean, because it keeps sinking in the sand where it's at. Kind of hard to do when your steering column's locked. You don't have keys for it, and you can't. The only way you can turn the wheels is to kick the tires. But yeah, this being responsible crap sucks. This adulting stuff sucks. Yeah, I can remember a day where there wasn't much of a care, you went and you did your job and you had fun and there wasn't all this responsibility that was tied to it. Kyle, if I did it full time, it might be, but the revenue that you get off the ads is not what I thought it was going to be. I mean, and haven't gotten these sponsors. I got a couple of spam mails of people claiming to be with companies and wanting to sponsor my videos, and I answer back, and of course, nothing comes of it. Um, I I think it was Jose that sent me a kit for doing the 700s and the 4L60s that I'm anxiously wanting to try. Um, I've got some stuff out in the shop that I need to send off to the remanner. I got a couple of pumps I need to have remanned, get them ready, and I'm going to try to get a couple of these. I need to get a transmission built for Scarlet. I need to get that done, so that's out of the way. Um, I think I'm going to build a 700 for it. Um, as far as engine management, I don't know if I'm going to use the factory stuff because the engine's not going to be factory. It's not going to be stock. I'm going to make a few upgrades to it. Yeah, Jose, I haven't forgot about you, buddy. I mean, I sure appreciate you sending me those. I'm dying to try them. Uh, I haven't been out in my shop for a couple of months. Still trying to get a few things done on our fleet here that we got at the house to keep it running. I got Charlie Brown back home, which is my Sable. I got it running. It had I got a video coming up, or I got a video not coming up. I don't know when it's going to be, when I'm going to get it done, but um, it had a bad fuel pump in it. When I got the fuel tank out, it turns out the fuel tank was bad too. It was just nasty inside. The corrosion from the ethanol fuel had just ate the inside of the tank up, and it was nothing. There was nothing salvageable in it. So I just replaced the whole thing, put a tank in it and a fuel pump module, and ended up having to take the fuel rail off and clean the fuel rail out and blew the injectors out and got all of them back working, because when I got it running, it had a misfire in it. And so I took the rail off, cleaned everything out, put the rail back on, and lo and behold, it ran on all six again. So I put a new set of plugs in it and a new coil pack. It's got a new fuel filter on it. This poor thing, I built this transmission for this thing 5 years ago, and it's got maybe 50 miles on it since I built it. And I think since then, it could just be that it's low on fluid, but would be my guess, because the guy that he was supposed to fix a couple of things on it, and he kind of screwed more things up than he fixed. So I may still have to pull the transmission back out and put a torque converter seal on it, because it only leaks when it's running. So that leads me to believe that it's coming out of the torque converter seal. So I may have to pull that dude back out. It's a good car, but I'm one of those guys that I'm consciously can't sell a car knowing it has an issue that I've been in there and fixed once already. I mean, I just can't do it. I mean, I know it's a used car, but I like to be something where somebody could hop in and at least be safe to drive it where they need to go and then take over from there, you know? Kyle, that's exactly it. I just haven't had time, and I haven't. If I wish I could sit down for long enough to be able to get some videos edited and at least get them up there, so I could do a consistent deal. Like maybe every Friday, I'd post a video. When I do my series on a lot of those I'll record all within a couple of days, but then the series, there may be 6 or 7, 8 videos, 9 videos in the series, and, and especially on a transmission build, I don't wanna do it, like, once a week because then everybody will forget what they're doing, and sometimes people follow that stuff. So, if they had to wait for the next section of it too long, it just it they're not gonna watch, and I get that. But I'm not like one of these guys that do it full time, that can do it full time and think about, and I'm I totally get where they're coming from. Being able to come up with consistent content, something that is entertaining for you all to watch, it gets difficult. Um, I'm much more comfortable in front of the camera than I was when I first started out, and it shows. Uh, what would really be cool is if I could actually do this at work too, take it to work and, let you guys see what I do at work on a normal basis, but I can't. Uh, I guarantee that would throw up a big red flag with my boss, and I don't want to screw that up. Now, if I had my own shop and I was doing it, that's another story because I can do whatever I want in my own shop. And if I was going to do it full time, I would record everything I do out in the shop. It's just the way it works. They filled a gas tank with potting soil. Wow. I remember those 89 Escort GTs. They actually didn't look too bad. Had a nice little wing on the back, some alloy wheels on it. Guy I used to work with up in Iowa had one of those 89 GT. It had the 1.9 liter high output with the fancy aluminum valve cover on it, and it didn't run too bad. And they were decent little cars, believe it or not. You know, 300ZX losing reverse. I might be out of that one on that one, Jose. I don't know much about the Nissans. Haven't dealt with a lot of them. Kyle, if anybody hates hearing myself talk, that would be me because I know I sound funky. So I mean, I just got to the point where, hey, if you're gonna watch, you're gonna watch. If you're not, you'll turn me off. Yeah, Mike, those were actually like I said, they weren't bad cars. I knew quite a few people that had that particular model in that year. Um, I had that '89 Crapsica, and that was a good car. That was one of them deals where it was stupid of me to get rid of it when I did. Um, I got rid of it. It had like I think 79,000 miles on it. But them miles weren't easy. That was when I was still uh, 19, 20 years old and had a lead foot from hell. And that 2.8 just it never let me down. It was a good running engine. But the trade that I made, I probably wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. I traded even up for an 81 Turbo TA, black with camel tan interior and T-tops. Guys, this car was beautiful. I wish I never would have got rid of that one. That was one I should have kept. Jose, if the guy had it built and he lost reverse twice, that's almost like there's an hydraulic leak in probably that clutch pack. I would be looking to see if that same clutch pack is applied in another gear. Most likely that's what it is. That's just like this 9T65 that I'm working on at work. It's a 9-speed automatic that they put in the 2018 and up Chevrolet Traverses and whatever GMC Acadias, I think is what they use those in, but they use them in a Cadillac XT4. Anyway, this thing would go forward through five of the 9 gears. It'd get to 6th gear and it would just freewheel. But the thing had no reverse at all. And it was kind of odd what I found when I took the thing apart. Just weird stuff. But they have what they call a excuse me. They have a ratcheting clutch in it. It's kind of like a Sprag, but it uses a ratcheting style mechanism in it. It's got little fingers and dogs in it that kind of bounces over the other side, and of course it locks when you try to go it the other way. Well, what they did on this thing is they made it to where it can be hydraulically controlled. And there's another one-way clutch that's much lighter that's below the one that's on top of it. And what they're finding is that lower one-way, since it's built weaker, is failing. And so it'll try to apply 2 clutches at the same time. And like this one actually split it split a hub. I'm going to get my phone handy. I'd show you this picture. See if I can find it. There it is. No, Stephen, we don't have GMCs at our shop, so I haven't seen it. YouTube just popped up on my phone, said I was live. Imagine that. Excuse me. Oh, here. Customer complaints after driving the truck about 10 to 15 minutes. The blower changes pitch and it no longer gets cold air out of it. Oh, you sucker. That is a picture of the evaporator core. That's taken with my little bore scope that I've got. The whole bottom of it is full of that nasty, I don't know what that is. But I guarantee what was happening is this thing was icing up and becoming a solid block of ice. And so you couldn't get any airflow out of it. All right. I can find whatever oh, that's probably the best picture that I've got of it. You can see on this side right there how that thing is split. And if you look at that, the way that thing is angled, you can tell it's flared out. And those clutches that are on there, they're stuck on there. They're stuck on that hub. And it smoked them once I got it off. Let's see if I can find another picture. Here's another picture it's easier to see that split in it. But you can see how it was trying to spread that drum apart because it was trying to apply two clutches at the same time. And it just and it but yeah, it's pretty crazy. No, Mike, on that evaporator core, uh that thing is done. This truck's got 358,000 miles on it. It's the original evaporator core, if you can believe that. It's on an '06 dually. And I told him, I says, I'm not even going to try to clean that. I says, we need to take the heater case out and we need to replace the evaporator and we need to replace the heater core while we're there. Um, Kyle, which part, so we were talking about two different events there. So talking about an evaporator core and that transmission. So which one is, what would cause what? The transmission, like I said, it's got a one-way clutch in it. Yeah, it's got a one-way clutch in it that's actually two-stage. There's a large one on the top, and then there's another one down below, and it's got um, like an apply servo on the side of this housing. And what happens is, from what technical assistance was telling me, is that there's two one-way roller clutches in this same housing. The top one is the big one, and the lower one is a lighter duty one. And what's happening is the lighter duty one is failing and not holding like it's supposed to. So what happens is you get two clutches applied at the same time. And so when that happens, something's got to give somewhere. And if you're under any kind of acceleration when it does it, or it's spinning pretty fast, it's going to pop something. And so that's what happened. So yeah, this was the first one that I'd had to been into a 9 speed anyway. The case is identical to the 6040, um 60 35, 60 40, 60 70, and 60 75. The case is very similar. The transmission is very similar in design. This 9 speed though, they've changed, um they changed the name of the clutches. One of them used to be the 3.5 reverse clutch. It used to have the same clutch names as like a 6L80. And the 9 speed, they changed all of it. Now you've got a 3.8 clutch. You've got a 5.7 reverse clutch, which used to be the 3.5 reverse clutch. You've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clutch, and a 6, 7, 8, 9 clutch. And then they got this real small one in the center. It's an odd duck. It really is. It reminds me the way they've got this thing compacted in there. It reminds me a lot of the 40, 45 that they used in um, Grand Ams and the Malibus and back in the early 2000s. Oh yeah, there's lots of moving parts in this dude, and they're so tight, close together. Um, one wrong move or something gets out of whack, it tends to want to take out something else. So, um, yeah, lots of moving parts in this dude. Plus, it has what they call a uh, Rovino, Rov, 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 Rovino, Rovino, something like that gear set, which means there's two planetary gears in the same housing. They got an upper and a lower, and then it's got another planetary set on top of that. So it's actually got three planetary sets in this dude. Yeah, 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 Mike. Those days are over for sure. Uh, yeah, in fact, most of the manuals are gone too. I mean, you can still get a TR 6060 in a um, Camaro. I do believe anyway. I don't know if you can still get one behind a V6 though. I think you. In fact, I don't even know if you can get one behind a V8 anymore. You might be able to, but they're few and far between anymore. Not many people want to drive a manual. Um, I think they're a blast, but as I get as I get older, I think of all the times I've been stuck in traffic with a manual transmission car, and it just you get worn out after a while. Yeah. Uh, Kyle, the thing on the 4L80 though is just remembering where all the stupid snap rings go and not getting them mixed up. Because you got the one that goes underneath that center support, and then you've got one that holds the clutch down there at the bottom, and one that's a support for the band, and just all sorts of malarkey. Um, the 1965, they actually give you in an overhaul kit. You have to replace um, five of the snap rings. They're a one-time use deal. So, yes, Kyle, on 10 speed, um, they have what I've been seeing so far, and what a lot of other techs I've talked to, they there is the oil pump on that thing is driven. It's got it's a gear driven oil pump that's what they call divorced. And basically you have your say this is your torque converter. Well, it has an idler gear that has a gear on the back of the torque converter, a gear that's idler in there, and then it has a gear on the oil pump. And what happens is there's a bearing, a roller bearing in the uh, for the idler that fails, and when it does, it chucks the little roller bearings out of it, and it tears the crap out of the gears. I just had to do one here not long ago, and you have to replace the whole nose of the transmission. Basically, it's the cover assembly. It would be equivalent to like your pump housing in a 700 or a 4L60. That's basically what the cover is on the 10 speed. The only other thing I've seen with the 10 speed is the first one they had, which was a the first year they used that was the 2018, and I had a Tahoe that blew a snap ring off of what they call the triple clutch housing, and it caused it to shift all sorts of funny, tore a bunch of stuff up, but other than that, no. I mean, and it seems like the ones that are failing are in the trucks. Haven't seen much problem with the ones that are in the cars. Well, then that gear set can't pastor certain Baptist churches. What? Now I don't know about the electric 6-speed, Mike. Um, if it's anything like the two mode hybrid that GM had for a couple years, that's a strange transmission too. It's actually got motors, two electric motors inside the transmission housing. Oh, okay. The on the 1 tons, no, I have not seen any failures on the 1 tons yet. I'd imagine they're coming. Um, I got one right now that's um, a 2020 or 2021, but it's a flatbed, and the guys haul a bunch of stuff with it, and they're saying it's shuddering on the shifts, but I never did get it to mess up. So I told him he's going to have to bring a load before I can find out if it's actually, something I can do with the transmission. If it is, then I'll have to take it apart. Well, I believe that, Mike. I understand that aspect because marriage is a bond between man and woman, according to what the Bible writes. Um, and it's a sacred bond. If that bond is broken, then I don't know what the stipulation is on it, but I'm not going to get that much into religion. I don't want to offend anybody. Um, I just know what I believe. So, a bit up or something. Got a brand new TV. Yeah, kind of. I'm going to tell you, if I was to buy a newer truck, me personally, I wouldn't buy anything um, newer than a 19 because it still has the real Allison, and I don't need 10 speeds. The 6 would do me just fine. We had a really nice one come in the shop not long ago. A guy traded it in, and man, I would have loved to have that truck. It was pretty sweet. It was black though, and black's tough to keep. Uh, but libertarian, what? Minarchist? Okay. What's up, brother? I'm rebuilding a 4060 in my garage now. It's out of a 99 tile with a 5.7 Vortec. Any advice on filling it up with fluid? Torque Verter got a brand new TV. Um, there's not really any advice to it. When you're done rebuilding it and putting it back in the truck, I usually fill them up with about 8 quarts of fluid to start with. Start it up long enough for it to pump some fluid in there. Shut it off. Put uh, two more two more quarts in it, and then see where you're at. Um, that's about it. It's pretty simple. Well, Kyle, the 21s are still going to have the same problem with the fuel pumps. But yeah, there's a big class action lawsuit about that pump. Um, my guess is, and the reason why those pumps fail anyway, is because the ultra low sulfur diesel. It doesn't provide enough lubrication for that pump, so that's why it fails. But I know where you're coming from on that. Well, true, true. Um, yeah, there's been a couple of guys up there. In fact, one of our employees he's got like a 2011 and his failed, and it put all that crap through the system. He ended up having to put injectors in it and fuel pump and all sorts of stuff. Just put 350 and 460 out of a 98 ton and a 51 Chevy half-ton electrical. Was a pain. Still can't get fuel pump to work without a toggle. Toggle, you mean? Mike, on yours, Mike, if you took the fuse box with it, you should have had the fuel pump relay in that box, and it's pretty simple. I mean, basically, the ECM controls the ground side of the relay, and as soon as there's power, there should be power on that one side of that relay. I think is the 30 is the load. Um, and but anyway, it controls the ground side. So um, the only other thing I can think of is if the PCM is not seeing oil pressure, because if there's no oil pressure signal sent to the ECM, the ECM should shut the fuel pump off. Oh yeah, yeah, Steven, that's been all over the web. I've seen one of them. It had like in 3 hours or something like that. It had 47 million views. It was crazy. All right, Kyle. Be good. Thanks for stopping in. I sure appreciate it. Um, I enjoy the conversations. Believe me. One of these days I'm gonna get something together and put you all in a Zoom meeting. That'd be pretty cool. Steven, I don't know. I don't think it was staged. I think it was a legitimate, hey, you shouldn't have said what you said, and now in the same aspect, I think Will might have uh overreacted. a little bit, but he was also being protective of his wife because I guess she's got that one syndrome or something like that. Yeah, that's probably why you're having trouble with it, Mike. You got to have the oil pressure gauge has got to work because the PCM's got to see an oil pressure. If the PCM doesn't see oil pressure, technically it's not supposed to allow the fuel pump to run. That's to to protect the engine. They used to do that mechanically on the old ones where they had where the fuel pump actually ran through a switch, the fuel pump power, and if after you primed it and the ECM would ground the relay long enough to prime it for like 2 to 3 seconds, and then after that, if as long as it's seen a signal from the oil pressure sender, then it would keep power uh, on that fuel pump. Otherwise, it wouldn't run. Lib, I used just a generic bushing driver set that I got from Matco. There's actually a company out there, or there's a couple of them on there that you can buy the specific bushing driver kit for that transmission. Amazon carries a kit. I don't remember how much it cost off the top of my head. You know what? I can probably tell you because it's in my saved list because it's something that I've been looking to get the actual one. It's in my tool list. $100. Let's see if I can share this. Here, let's do this. Control V. Try that and see if that link takes you to that toolkit. But that should tell you that should be the kit that's for the 4L60 700R4. That should be all the proper bushing sizes. Yeah, because I mean, Mike, they did that for a couple of reasons. Uh, but the main one was for safety. So the idea is that if you were in a crash and it stalled the engine, um, and say it had a fuel leak, the idea was is that it disables the power. If there's no oil pressure, then it says, "Hey, we ain't got any oil pressure. Shut the fuel pump off." And that way, in case it did spring a leak on the fuel system, it wouldn't spray it in and send you up in an inferno. So that's the main reason why they did that. Mm. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, some of them they actually had of the old small block. They had an oil pressure sender right above the um, oil filter, and then they had one in the back of the block behind the intake. Whoop. Chair squeaking. Oh, nothing wrong with classics by any means. They just didn't use that same stuff because, the fuel pumps on those were mechanical on the classic stuff. So, anywho, well, y'all, I think I'm going to call it a night. I got a bunch of yard work I got to get done tomorrow. Yay! But I am going to try to get some videos recorded. I don't know how successful I'll be at doing that, but I'm going to sure try. But with that being said, y'all, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you coming in and visit me with when you can. And y'all make sure to take care of yourself, take care of each other. God bless you, and God bless America. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.